Hey everyone, Drewby's Apiary here. Sorry for the late upload. Today is July 15th. I know it's been a few weeks since I last had an update. As you can see, it's very wet and rainy right here. Kind of hear it in the background. So it's not a very good day for beekeeping. I am out here. The goal today was actually to go around and do some feeding, which that is one thing I've been able to get today, but because of the rain, haven't been able to do an actual inspection. The point of this video is kind of give you all an update on how our Apiguard treatment went. And as you can kind of tell from fronts of these hives, they are bumping with populations. I'm hoping the treatment went well. They are bearding like crazy on that one, that red hive. I was hoping to do a sugar shake today. I'm not going to do it unless this rain dies down, but you know, here we are. We'll see. If the rain dies down, I'll do a sugar shake, get an accurate count. Otherwise, I'll have to do this another day and update you all whatever day of the week that ends up being. So we'll see to do that. Like I said, going around to feed sugar syrup. This is that time of the year where start trying to see if I can put some syrup on all of my hives across the board. Because even though I got a harvest obviously a little over a month ago, I'd like to hope I can get maybe a little bit more out of them in September. You know, fingers crossed we get a fall flow. This time of the year, it's kind of boring beekeeping, to be honest with you. There's really not a whole lot to do. Your main goals going in this time of the year is keeping your bees fed. You're really fighting off pests more than anything, pests and mites. So, you know, now that the mite treatment is done, our other big adversaries are going to be the small hive beetle and the wax moth. And, you know, both of those pests will usually be knocked back, assuming that you have a strong enough population. So this is where keeping good, healthy population, which, you know, this is when, you know, usually most of your hives are going to have a pretty maximum sized population. And, they'll do a good job of keeping those kind of bugs away. If that's not the case, you know, this is kind of the time of the year you need to start thinking about what do you want to do with your weak hives, right? I mean, right here we can already tell red, yellow, and blue just from outward appearance. You know, we don't really know until you go inside, but they're clearly very strong. You know, green right there is a big mystery. Not really sure what's going on with them. It's kind of hard to tell, but those Apame bottom entrances are open. That one's kind of closed off because I could tell they had a weaker population. So I'm kind of curious if the rain dies down, take a peek in there and see what's going on. But you know, you really got to figure out your weak population hives. Are they going to make it or not going into the winter? And you know, if you do a good job over the next 2 months feeding them, hopefully they can boost up their numbers, draw out maybe a little bit of comb. It's a little too hard for them to do that unless they've got surplus nectar coming in. So that way, when late fall, early winter does come, they'll be prepared. But if you want to cut your losses, like this is kind of that time of the year where you got to figure out, do I want to equalize? Do I want to combine? Like, do we want to take a weak hive and put it with another one? The time is now, because if you're going to start doing that in late, you know, mid-late August, it doesn't give the bees a lot of time to kind of figure stuff out before going into the winter. So my goal over the next couple weeks is really just feed them sugar now that the mite treatment's done, make sure the pests are leaving them alone, and deciding, are we equalizing or, you know, combining, whatever we're doing. So just something to keep in mind. I'm going to pause the video here in a second, check on my sugar water situation. And again, if I've got something I can update you all on, if this weather dies down, I think it's going to be going at least for the next hour or so. Then if that's the case, I will record the rest of this on another day. All right, everyone, we got a little bit of a lull in the rain. So I'm gonna try to see if I can go into this red hive. It has the biggest population. I don't mind using some of its bees as a sample for our sugar shake. I might take a peek in that green one just because it's been a bit since I last looked in it. But again, let's take advantage of the time while we have, because if the rain starts again, I'm not going to be inspecting anymore. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you've seen a sugar shake roll done before. That is what we're going to be doing today. That's what I've always done. And I mainly pick it because it is believed, I'm not saying it's been proven, that the sugar shake roll does not kill the bees. I've read some differing opinions on that from your sample, because obviously when you throw the bees that are covered in powdered sugar back in the hive, the expectation is that they get cleaned up. And as far as I know, they do, but I have heard things from other folks saying that, you know, maybe they don't, or maybe some do pass, but honestly, anytime you handle these, there's always a chance that some may pass. But this is our only way of really knowing for this yard if this Apiguard treatment was successful, or, you know, just kind of try to see where we're at now. Because if we're, you know, hopefully we have none, but the reality is if we have 1 or 2 mite drops from our sample size, that won't be the end of the world. There's a good chance all these hives were pretty loaded with mites before, just because the time of the year is pretty expected. But we'll be doing a half a cup. I know this is a full cup of bees, or, you know, this is a full cup, but I'm saying we're going to be getting half of this, because I only need half a cup, which should be roughly like 200 to 300 bees in there. We'll be taking that, putting them in this powdered sugar jar right here. Once all the bees are in there, sealing it up, shaking them around, and then after 2 minutes of them having time, which you'll see, we'll dump them in this bowl. Or I'm sorry, we won't dump them in this bowl. I will shake them into my little water source. So you'll see that in a second, and then that way we'll be able to get a mite count, or see if we have a mite count or not from here. So like I said, let's start with this. Again, you can watch the previous video if you'd like for assistance. That one's more detailed than this, but I prefer the sugar shake. I don't do the alcohol wash, and even though the alcohol wash is going to be more accurate, most likely, I just don't like the idea of killing bees if I don't have to, because every beekeeper will tell you it's part of the job that bees are going to die as you're doing your job, trying to take care of them. But, you know, it's the way of the world. So this hive is packed full of bees. Another thing, a few mites, or not mites, I'm sorry, a few beetles. You will usually see hive beetles on the inner cover when you're doing your inspections this time of the year. This is usually where the adults like to hang out. They go into the hive more when they're laying their eggs, or, you know, something like that. But if I can get a few, I'll kill a few while I'm up here. Let's see, more. Tag it right on the fingertip. Bees are having none of it today, folks. Even though only one got through my glove, they are out in force right now. Probably should have chose one of my hives. That's usually the nicer of the ones. This is usually my most aggressive of the hives, but again, they do have the biggest population, which is kind of why I wanted to target them. Let's see. population. So we're looking for a brood frame. That is what we're going to need for our sample. So I'm going to try to grab one somewhere from the middle. Make sure you look for your queen. You do not want to include your queen on the sugar shake. One side, here we go. Here is a frame of brood. Kind of hard to tell. It's so cloudy out, but not a ton of bees, but nurse bees nonetheless all over it. So we're gonna shake these into my blue bowl over here. You can see some uncapped larvae, which is always a good sign, so we probably have a queen. Let me just do one last peek. Make sure our queen isn't somewhere on here, and we just didn't see her. But she is marked from my last note. And you can probably hear how angry they are. They're not happy with me working right now on them, and I don't blame them. This is not the right weather to be working bees. You know, this type of weather, while it makes us usually sad and depressed when we see the rain, for them, they're usually upset. Pretty upset because they're stuck inside all day. They can't do anything but hive maintenance on the inside, and anything that disturbs them, like me, in their mind is they're thinking like, oh, you're gonna let the rain in. So they don't like that one bit. I don't see my queen in here at all, so I'm gonna shake this right here, and then we're gonna try to do this quickly. Time is on. Gotta get almost. Yep, that'll do it. That'll be my half cup. See them rolling around in there. Probably get a little bit more. I'm gonna try to see if I can fit a few more in there. Alright, let's let them do their thing. Get this frame of brood back in there. Like I said, 2 minutes. All right, it's been about 2 minutes, so a moment of truth. So, we got our little water right here. Also, there's a bee climbing on my camera in case the camera gets obscured while this is recording. It's climbing all over there. But a little thing of water. We got all our bees, and now we're going to shake. Another reason to do this on a not rainy day is you've got the heat that's generated from the sun that greatly assists sorry, the reason why I stopped talking, I definitely noticed there's a bee right here that had about 2 varroa mites on it. Just find that very interesting. I'm assuming this is from this same hive. Take that into consideration on this mite count, that 2 of these that are in here are not of the group that are not from this sugar shake right here. But anyways, the heat that's generated from doing the sugar shake, one big advantage of it is that the belief is that the mites come off easier because basically the bees are super heated in there. They're all clustered at the sugars all over them. They're rubbing their bodies, and it's the combination of them grooming and the high temperature that is believed to be dislodging the mites. So it's a lot easier to get an accurate count when you're doing this shake when you see that. So something to keep in mind. Again, I'm only doing this because I was curious. I'm only doing it with the one hive today just to see, because they all got the same treatment. Like I said, it was 2 rounds of 25 milligrams over 10 days, then second 25, 10 days. So again, this is my first year doing it. This is my first time testing a hive with it. I might test another one on another day, but still only the 2 mites that I had already seen, so nothing's dislodged yet. All right, I'll finish the sugar shake and I'll give you guys an update what the results of that are. All right, so overall in the red hive, I only had 1 mite drop due to the sugar shake. There are 3 mites in this water. I've got 1, 2, and 3 over here from that sugar shake. But like I said, only 1 came off of the bees do the sugar shake. Those other 2 mites that are in here were from a lone bee. It was very bizarre. Kind of flew into the water. The bee had just been flying around, flew into the water, and when I examined it, I noticed it had 2 mites on it. My assumption is that it was from my red hive right here, because that hive was open as I was working on it. Could have been from any of these hives, could have been from wherever. But either way, I like to think that that shows a success. I'm not too concerned with 1 mite drop. I don't like seeing a random bee with two mites on it. That's never a good sign. But again, hard to really say. I checked the bottom boards on all these hives while I was waiting, and I would say in the majority of them I did see some dead mites on the bottom. Of course that's mixed with some other debris and stuff that makes it kind of hard for me to take an accurate count. I probably could have done a good job before starting the treatment of getting the bottom boards cleaned out and making my future inspection easy, but I did not. So hard to really give it an accurate check. But like I said, there was no sugar shakes or anything done before treatment was started on any of these hives. So to me, I like to think any treatment is better than none. And even though had I done a sugar shake or something similar to get a kind of an idea of what my numbers were looking like, I could give you guys a before and after and say, oh well, clearly Apiguard is the way to go. I can't do that. I can't give you that recommendation. I have heard great things, and you know, I do think that from what I've seen that this probably benefited, but I won't know for sure till later. I don't plan on doing any more Apiguard treatments this summer. Like I said, I think that at least helped them knock back the mites a bit, and then they'll get the bomb dropped on them come the fall when I hit them with Formic. It's too hot this time of the year in Georgia to do a Formic treatment, and I just don't want to risk running my bees out of the hive. So we will not be doing Formic until the fall, and that should truly set them up for success. So again, don't think I'll be doing inspections, I'm sorry, I don't think I'll be doing sugar shakes at every single one of my hives, because that's just very time consuming. I might do one per yard or something like that, just to kind of get an idea of where each of my yards are at, but even that is kind of time consuming. So hope all y'all treatments went well. Hopefully those of y'all who have used Apiguard this summer have had good success. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to give a quick update. One other thing to advise, this is just a lesson learned with Apiguard. I noticed this with my leftover product, is be sure when you guys are storing your Apiguard, store it, or try to store it somewhere like in a temperature controlled environment if you can. And it doesn't have to even be like, when I say temperature controlled, like even your garage is fine. Just don't do what I did and don't leave it in the back of a car. When you do that, you run the risk of your Apiguards, the gel separating from the solution, and that's not good. Then it kind of becomes like a dribble mess. It doesn't adhere properly in the hive. It's hard to say if it's still effective to use, but again, I don't have enough experience with Apiguard to know. I have read on Apiguard's website that they advise against storing it in the back of a car, which is again something I should have read and seen. So I'll put that as a little warning at the bottom in the description or whatever, to help you all make sure you don't make the same mistake I did. But you know, keep it somewhere at least cool or room temperature, and you guys will be good to go moving forward. So all right, well, I think that pretty much sums it up for today. Hope you all have a good week. I'll try to get some more content soon, but again, most of the rest of the summer is just going to be feeding bees and doing checks here and there. So y'all take care. See you next time. Have a good one.